UFC 322, there's two titles on the line, two super fights. And folks, the last 2 weeks of MMA, it's been a little lackluster. Hasn't been too inspiring, and the biggest news to date has been a betting scandal that we're not even going to get into right now. But we are going to break down on this card, Islam Makhachev, Della Maddalena. Can the lightweight, some would say one of the best to lightweight besides Khabib, can he step up and become the two-division champion? Can Zhang Weili move up from strawweight and finally knock Valentina Shevchenko off the throne, officially this time? Right? Shevchenko with Grasso lost it, got it back. Can she knock her off indefinitely? That'll be the story we're going to break down here today. With me, as always, folks, the Santa Fe bomber, the New Mexico native, AJ. We got super fights. We got a stacked card from bottom to top, legitimately. Again, the last couple of weeks have been a little, but we got something for the people, and there's some money to make. I know you're excited. How you feeling, brother?
My brother, very excited, folks. It's a numbered card. We got heat from top to bottom. You know the money's going to be flying in on these ones right here. It's not always the favorite that hit, but we got some actual juice here later on in the episode, so I'm happy to be here. Excited to break it down. This is going to be a very fun fight card.
All right, well, we're not going to mince any words. There's no recap because we have been off for the last couple of weeks, but we came back for a card that inspired us, that rejuvenated the spirit, and let's have some fun. But first, before we do it, we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down the sleeper section of UFC 322. I know we're going to ditch the pay-per-view model here in a couple of months at the end of the year, but what you need to keep in mind is you still have an opportunity to look really cool in front of you that don't know none of these people, but you're going to show them the banger that you need to tune into. Of my man AJ. Go ahead and take it away, brother.
It's time for some fight night.
If you ain't paying attention, you're gonna sleep on me and I'm gonna wake you up.
Folks, we're starting off early in the prelims, folks, with a sleeper, or a fight, I should say, that has sleeper written all over it. We're going Basenger Susarkayev versus Derick McConaughey in the 185-pound division, folks. And we're starting off with Derick McConaughey right here. Fast strikes, great at range, and always looking for a finish. This dude's a killer. He's very much a go out and die on your shield kind of fighter. And he's going up against a killer, Susarkayev, man. This dude is a prospect on the rise, undefeated, well-rounded, and won each of his first two UFC fights within the week of each other. Dude is absolutely a stud going in here. Here's what you need to know, folks. 16 combined finishes between the two of them, and both fighters are expected to dog walk the other one, right? And with this being a prelim on a pay-per-view card, you expect them both to start fast, start violent, and really bring that heat. Like Derick said, we're not going, or we're getting away from the pay-per-view model here soon, but anytime you're on that numbered card, you get some eyes to you. This is the place to shine, and these boys are ready to do it.
Susarkayev has a lot of hype on him. For the hardcores out here, we know these guys. McConaughey, we know Susarkayev. We know how much hype has been placed on them. But if you haven't been tuned in, if you're just here for the main card, this is a banging fight to watch. And there's some betting value that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But before we jump into that, let's go ahead and remind the people how the program works, folks. If you're new here, we're going to jump into the main card. We're breaking it down. We're going to give you picks, and then we're going to give you bets. And we will let you know what's a pick. We'll let you know what's a bet, because it's very big distinctions between the two. We're going to start from the bottom of the order all the way to the top, to the championship fights. And if you haven't done so, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Here's to another main card breakdown, courtesy of your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
We got to start with Uncle Benny and BSD, man. This is a clash of styles, if you will, but I think that the stakes here, that the winner is going to stay in the title orbit, somewhat relevant in the lightweight title orbit, which is going to be very important, because how many times can we say it? But Beneil Dariush was the guy that we all thought would be fighting for the championship. Makhachev decides, hey, I'm gonna vacate, I'm gonna move up, and now you got another scary dude in Topuria. So there's a little bit of stonewalling here happening, but BSD is looking to really cement his spot and show that he wasn't a fluke. The Dustin Poirier fight was just a one-off. He had staff, whatever, and he really is a front runner. Let's see, though. Can he be the hammer? Can he be the nail? Can he get a win against Uncle Benny? Has the timeline set us in place? What are you thinking, brother?
Ooh, Derick, it really does feel like it has. Like it is very much a Beneil Dariush has been lost to time, and then now, as of late, really has that resurgence that we're looking for, that all the hardcore fans know what Beneil Dariush can go in there and do. And going up against a Benoit Saint Denis, who kind of seems to be right in the same sort of timeline. Like, this dude's a killer, but he's not getting as much respect as he does deserve in the division. So having them both fight at this time, man, it seems to be that melting of moments where this is the one that can decide anybody's future going forward. The question is, man, is Uncle Benny actually going to be able to prove the haters wrong, right? Does he need to be in a violent fight to actually wake up? Because he's in store for one with Benoit Saint Denis coming in here, who's going to bring that violence right away and get this fight over with right away.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question right here. Can he survive the aggressive onslaught that BSD is going to bring? Because realistically, in the last fight that BSD just had, that Mauricio Hufi and the Kyle Prepolak, right? I think he was a pretty massive favorite in the Prepolak fight because I was like a short notice thrown together. But the Hufi win was like a fraud checking through the same method of, I'm just going to out wrestle you guys. I'm going to put some grappling on you. That's not an option against Uncle Benny. I mean, it is. You could try, but that's not going to be as advantageous. So when you look at him and you say, okay, 11 submission victories, there's a lot of hype behind it. You're both 3-2 in your last 5. It's showing no odds right here, but I do have some odds for this fight right here. Let me see. Yeah, minus 185 for BSD, plus 154 comeback here for Uncle Benny. Do you think that line aligns, if you will, that betting line makes sense given the path to victory for BSD needs to pretty much be on the feet onslaught? Anything other, I see Uncle Benny being pretty crafty.
Yeah, I see Uncle Benny being very crafty if this one is a washing machine style of fight. And as far as do the numbers make sense, like path wise, right? I would actually have this a little bit closer if just we're going off of game plans, because the aggressive that Benoit Saint Denis has to put forward leads towards a better Beneil Dariush fight, right? We've seen him be many a time where the damage is coming down the pipe. Beneil, he's just eating it, waiting for you to get tired. And then he starts to have that snowball effect going forward. And that's what worries me as Benoit Saint Denis fighter. Like if he can't find that finish in that first round and a half, Beneil wakes up really after that second half and really starts to get going and then really starts to pour on the pressure. And that's where it leads to more of a Beneil Dariush fight. Unfortunately, he's not going to, Benoit Saint Denis isn't going to have the grappling, or like you said, isn't the best path to victory for him. So it's going to be hard to actually wear down the gas tank of Beneil Dariush going into this without having that aspect.
That's true. One thing that I do think we need to take into consideration, though, is one, age, 155 pounds, 36 years old. Is age going to start catching up to Uncle Benny? Because he looked good in the Moicano fight. And relative to what Moicano did to Saint Denis, which was honestly one mistake, it pretty much ended the fight for him. But relative to how BSD looked against Moicano and how Dariush looked versus Moicano, just two drastically different performances. But even though Dariush was in the driver's seat in the Moicano fight, he got dropped, bro. So if Moicano is out here dropping you, if BSD can hit that onslaught, I just think we need to look at it from that perspective. Yeah. And anytime a fight goes long, you're going to bank on the more experienced, the crafty guy with better opposition, better strength of schedule. But I do realistically see a path of BSD just being a front runner and being a really, really good hammer. Do you think if he turns into a nail that he can still squeak it out, or is it be the hammer or lose in this matchup?
No, if Benoit Saint Denis needs to be the nail on this one, I think he has a good enough movement and a good enough game plan to avoid the directional approach that Beneil Dariush likes to take. Because he, like I said, he's snowballing, he's going forward, he's putting that violence to you. If you can evade and then create your own violence, there's a good way to actually overcome the pressure that Beneil puts.
Gotcha. I mean, both of these guys are big strawweights. I mean, not strawweights, southpaws. Sorry, that's what I mean. Big left hands coming down the pipe is really what I mean right here. I think you need to watch out specifically for the big overhand of Benny Dariush. But for BSD, it's all going to be about that spamming the body kick. Don't get that kick caught, and then scrambles get created. More scrambles in favor of Dariush, more just on the feet, and let's see where we work around. I think BSD should be a pretty clear favorite in this end. I'm not going to lie to you. I do think that the value, like a value bet, would be dog on Benny Dariush, but I don't think I could pass up BSD in this matchup. I'm going youth, I'm going tenacity, I'm going aggressiveness. And aside from that, there's one more question that we need to answer, but regardless of who you're going on, is what style of fight do we think happens? 1.5 rounds is the total. Do we like the over, or we lean in the under?
I'm leaning the over on this one, Derek. Even though I said a longer fight does lean towards Beneil Dariush, I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to have enough in the tank and as well enough game plan to be able to avoid the onslaught. I like Benoit Saint Denis in this one, my man. I think he's going to get it done. And as far as overall, I think the decision's also looking like a good play right here, but the over is what would you say it was again?
The over is minus 155, 1.5 rounds.
That's not bad. Minus 155, especially at 1.5. I'd take that all day.
Absolutely. And one other number to take a look at is fight to go the distance right here at minus 335. This just gives you an idea of where the bettors are at right here. Over 1.5, I like the total. Fight not to go the distance, yeah, I like that too. But I think AJ. It's pretty clear the consensus pick on this one. We got to go our BSD Benoit Saint Denis, not Benny Dariush right there. So interesting to see how this one is going to play out. But again, I think we don't need to overcomplicate these. Youth and tenacity oftentimes will run the day. Let's set the table here. Leon Edwards, former welterweight champion, headshot bang, headshot dead, whatever you want to call it. You knocked off Kamaru Usman, and now all of a sudden you're more or less an afterthought to this dude, Carlos Prates, who got, I mean, I saw something on Twitter today. I thought it was funny. Like, Carlos Prates had one moment in the fight that at the very end of the fight against Ian Gary that he gets more applaud for than Ian Gary playing the maracas with his head for 2.5 straight rounds. You know what I mean? Like he was giving him the business more or less. He was doing whatever he wanted, but he showed more heart and he showed more fight finishing instinct right here. One pressing, glaring flaw that we've seen in Leon Edwards, at least from what I can tell, it's not anything to do with his physical attributes. It's just heart. And you can't teach heart. And that's what Prates said right here, brother. So if you're Leon Edwards, are you ready to shock the world right here and let people know, hey, there's levels to this thing. I was a champion. I will always remain a champion. Or do we just move on very quickly and say, hey, the Usman era is over. Prates is a different guy.
Man, the Usman era feels like ages ago, Derick. We're talking something that feels like 10 years, and it's only just about 3. So the sport evolves so fast. If Leon Edwards is going to go in there and shock the world and show that he is a new change fighter, has all the heart, he's a dog in there, he's going to have to do something miraculous, Derick. He's going to have to go in there and literally just dog walk Carlos Prates from moment one, from second one, go out there, take the front foot. Don't let the very fast striker and very dominating figure that Carlos Prates is have even a moment to breathe. And I don't think Leon Edwards has that kind of game in him, to be honest with you, Derick.
Yeah, my biggest thing is Leon Edwards. The visual that I get anytime I think of a fight with him involved is his back against the cage or his back creeping up against the cage or taking steps backwards, which is not a bad game plan because being a counter striker won him. How many fights did he win in a row? 10 or something like that. Mix in some grappling, mix in a little wrestling, all that. Awesome. But Prates is going to walk forward. He's going to back you up in the cage. And if he does that, knees, body shots, big shots that crack the temple and it's over. You know what I mean? You be aggressive, spinning elbow into something. Like, I don't know. I don't want to overstate this because on one hand, if you take a look at the line right here, it is a little silly. You're like, dude, plus 140 for Leon Edwards. Like, I need to smash that total because who is this guy, Carlos Prates, and who has he beat? Who has he beat that warrants a line like this? And you tell me, just take a quick look at the strength of schedule here. Who has he beat that makes odds makers this confident?
Yeah, I'd say it's the 2 KOs on Neil Magny and Jeff Neal, and only because they carry a lot of weight with veterans and with hardcore bettors that are going forward. And the way in which Carlos Prates is able to do it. Round 1 knockouts, violence from the beginning. And that's what I think is drawing that minus 162 for Carlos Prates. But you're right, Derick. Leon Edwards at a plus 142. If you're a big fan of Leon and you think that he can play that calm sniper game plan and abuse the holes that Carlos Prates puts, that's the best number we've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, Prates is there. He's there to be hit. He doesn't have fantastic head movement himself, being a Muay Thai striker, but he uses all of those weapons very well to be able to not give you too many options to land that headshot dead, whatever the case may be. I say that, and it's jokes and it's funny, but Leon Edwards was literally the most slept on dude for forever. And all of a sudden, again, it felt like a lot of those years could have been spent as a champion versus on the hunt. And look at where we are today. I say that because of Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Nate Diaz, Rafael Dos Anjos, Gunnar Nelson, Donald Cerrone. It literally feels like a clash of fighters from the mid 2000s, right? Even though, this is 2010s and whatnot. But yeah, Carlos Prates fighting the Leech, Magny, and Jeff Neal. Even though it was it was just a quick finish. He got him out of there super quick. Still a lot that we didn't see, but based on that alone, I guess it does make sense right here. I'm not saying that I hate the value at minus 162 for Carlos Prates. I'm just curious if there's a couple things that we need to consider here, like what everybody is saying. Well, why doesn't Leon just grapple fuck him? You know what I mean? Get him out of here. Just wrestle and lay on him for 3 rounds and win the fight. Ian Gary did it more or less.
Yeah,
So what do
no,
you
but I
what do you
mean,
think?
straight up, more or less, the thing is, I don't think Leon Edwards has that kind of gas tank to continuously shoot. Because Carlos Prates, man, he has an 84% takedown defense, where on average, Leon Edwards per 15 minutes is shooting just over one takedown. He's going to need to bump those numbers up into 3, 4, 5, and continue that pressure and push Carlos Prates up against the cage and work the takedowns that way, where you're inside range and you're able to avoid the big powerful shots or even the knees coming up the middle. Like, there's multiple ways Leon can do it, game plan wise. I just don't think he has the necessary means as a fighter to change the way he has been fighting for the last 20 some plus years that he has. He's built the what's the intrinsic qualities. I don't think he's going to change it this far in his career.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, Leon Edwards at the same time is 34. Prates is 32. It's not a major age difference. Miles are just about the same too. Maybe even more miles on Prates, given an extensive history of fighting, not in the UFC and whatnot, just like Muay Thai and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that this is going to bank on what type of fight does Leon Edwards want to bring, because he did mention something I thought was interesting in the pre-fight build-up, which was laying on him for 3 rounds isn't going to get him to where he wants to be fast enough. So if it's a strikers matchup right here, you got to go Prates. I think that for Leon, his path to victory is slow the fight. Clinch, that's even like a sketchy move. Do you want to clinch against a Muay Thai guy like Prates? But clinch or be at range, never just be in that middle ground. I like Prates. I think he's more dangerous. I like the knockouts coming his way. 17 knockout victories right here. We know when he touches you, he has that death touch. And for Leon, when the fight, I don't want to keep reverberating just like the sentiment everybody is thinking right here, but the reality is Leon Edwards is not fighting a grappler. He's not fighting a Chimaev. He's not fighting a dude who's going to hold him down. But when he gets hit with the big ones, how is he going to respond? When Nate Diaz won in everyone's eyes with one big moment and just looked at him and laughed at him, right? How does he respond when Prates does that but follows up and doesn't sit back and laugh? We'll see, But do you have any devil's advocate here? Because again, Leon Edwards isn't just a name. We have seen it. He is really, really good.
He is really, really good, Derick. You can't take away from 22 wins, 7 KOs. I mean, yeah, you look at Prates, 17 KOs on the other end. There are numbers to be looked at, but Leon Edwards was doing this in the UFC. He's knocking people out cold left and right, especially back in the day. I think you're right, Derick, 10 or 12 finishes from there. So if you're Leon Edwards, the one thing you do need to stay comfortable with, I guess, is the fact that you do have a sniper. You have the off button in your arsenal that when a chaotic, right, a crazy striker's coming in, hands down, he's doing all the weird head movement, you have everything in your arsenal to slide out of the way and crack him with, it would be his left hand, crack him with a solid left hand and go forward after that. Find those big moments. And as we've seen as of late, moments win fights, especially when you're winning them consistently over the minutes. The moments are the thing that get the who's in the odds. The moments are the thing that get the judges to look at and pointing things down. That's the way Leon is going to have to do it, with those moments, and avoid any kind of chaotic situation that he's not in control of and able to exit and re-enter.
I mean, I like your take, man. One number that I think is interesting that we should at least take a look at is going to be double chance here. So folks, check your double chance opportunities, because these are some of my favorite bets that you could place. But Carlos Prates, by any methodology of finish, plus 145. If you throw in a decision there too, minus 180. Doesn't really make sense from that degree, but that's like the super safe play. Leon Edwards, by any decision possible. Yeah, knockout or decision. Submission or decision right here. I think knockout or decision would be a better play, but submission is there. Either one of these lines. Do you like anything that you see right here?
Yeah, Derick, I like the Carlos Prates by finish. I mean, obviously, I think the KO, TKO is going to be the one, but what I do like, actually, that I saw it, the DQ's in there as well. So even if this fight, because that ruins so many of them, even if this fight goes well, man, that's plus 145, finger poke, whatever the case may be. Somebody quits, DQ, who knows? But I like that one right there, Derick.
Fight to go the distance, minus 120 for yes, minus 120 for no, even money. I mean, listen, it's a pick 'em. What are you saying?
Fight not to go the distance, brother. I think my boy Carlos Prates is going to put the work in.
All right, you heard it here, folks. That's the consensus pick, Carlos Prates. Again, common theme: too big, too fast, too strong, too athletic, too spry. You know what I mean? Age is a nasty equalizer in this game right here. We'll just say that. Sean Brady meets Michael Morales, and this is a fight that I think is kind of similar to the Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates dynamic, in the sense of Sean Brady is really, really good at what he does, right? In terms of wrestling, in terms of grappling, in terms of submissions, fantastic control. He could change the fight with one takedown. But Michael Morales is a specimen. And yeah, easier said than done taking that man down. It's a rare thing to be gifted by God or whatever you want to say with his type of genetics, with what he has. But that's the meme right now, AJ. You have a dude who has literally spent thousands and thousands of hours of his craft, just like dedicated, determined, still built like a brick house. He's just smaller in stature versus a guy with good genetics. And they're like, give the guy with good genetics, give him the favorite odds right here. Because as I'm tracking it, let me go ahead and pull it up for the world to see. You know what the number is looking like right here, man. Minus 130 for Sean Brady, plus 110 for Michael Morales. This number was higher earlier this morning. It's creeping. And by the time that we get to the fight, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Michael Morales is actually a favorite or if it's just a straight pick 'em right here. So lots to talk about, lots to break down. I want to know your perspective from the Michael Morales side of things.
Yeah, Derick. I mean, this is the prove it fight for Michael Morales, right? If you want a name, you want somebody who has been a consummate, top fiver, like the guy who's going to get you to get to the championship belt. You knock out Sean Brady. Like that is the one thing that is best case scenario for Michael Morales, right? He's going in, you get him tired, he's looking to shoot a double, you end up with an uppercut, a knee, whatever the case. This guy is a crazy talented striker. And like you said, very naturally gifted. But one of the things I've liked most about Michael Morales, how explosive he is, my man. He's able to find things that not a lot of people are able to see. Nonetheless, he's able to hit those things as well. That's where he gets a lot of his crap from. That's where a lot of people are really riding high on him. And I agree with you, Derick. When I think this fight actually starts off, we'll probably see a pick 'em, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Morales as the favorite.
Bro, takedown defense for Michael Morales, 89%. These dudes cannot take him down. But I will say there is one thing that's the best way that I could put this is similar to a Carlos Prates, if you will. It's like, who have you beat, man? Or a BSD or whoever. Who have you beat to really say that you can be competitive with a guy who's proven it already in Sean Brady to a degree, I suppose. And really all you could say is what? Gilbert Burns? I think that's the name, right? Like when you saw that was super impressive. But let's also admit 2025 Gilbert Burns. This wasn't the Gilbert Burns that fought Hamza Chimaev. This wasn't the Gilbert Burns that fought Kamaru Usman. And even then, you know what I mean? Like it's not that guy. So you beat a big name, but a kind of a end of the road version of that one. Okay, fantastic. But Sean Brady trying to take you down and Gilbert Burns trying to take you down are two different things that I would argue. So realistically, all I would say is Sean Brady has just shown time and time again since that Bilal Muhammad fight, unless you could break him with cardio and have an equalizer for his takedowns, there's really not much that you can do to stop him. So Bilal being that very unique athlete that we just haven't seen, does Michael Morales have that? My big question here, I'm just going to lay it flat on the line, AJ. If Michael Morales gets taken down, can he get back up?
Later in the fight, Derick. I think after the second round, right? Second, 2.5 into that third round, I think he can, but John Brady can change the fight with one takedown, especially in the early rounds. And if he gets that takedown early into the second, we could see that first 10 minutes, like you said, just grapple fucking, right? Sean Brady just taking all the athleticism out of Michael Morales. It's the smartest way to go. It's the easiest path. And even though Michael Morales does have that 89% takedown defense, we've seen him where he's in bad positions on the ground, right? He's athletic enough to get out, but we haven't seen him against the caliber of wrestler that Sean Brady is. So it does worry me. But the thing that gives me a little bit of hope, gives me pause for consideration, like you said it before with Bilal, all you need to do with Sean Brady, maintain that pressure, maintain that athleticism, and then have something for his takedowns. So as long as he doesn't get taken down, we should be looking good. But if he does, I don't think he has enough to actually get up, Derick.
The good news, however, if I'm playing devil's advocate, is Michael Morales has a 7-inch reach advantage. Not super taller than Sean Brady, but he is brick house in a different way. If he can keep this man at range with one takedown, Sean Brady can change the game. With one shot to your chin, Michael Morales could flatline you. So that's really the big conundrum that we have right here. And again, you have to really take a look at, all right, well, this is a 3-round fight. Again, if you watch Sean Brady and you see him be able to just pick up Kelvin Gastelum, well, he was a good wrestler, good takedown defense, right? Pick up a leg, shoot in and grab a leg and immediately hop on, and now he's on your back for the rest of the round. That's really where it comes down to me when I'm looking at this clash of styles right here. I think Michael Morales, I'm not joking with you. I'm going to make a claim right now. I think Michael Morales, and maybe I'm not alone in my opinion here. I think he will be a champion of this division. I just don't think that this is the time yet. He's undefeated. I think he's going to take a loss to some of these really good guys in the division. He's going to come build himself back up, and he'll be a champion because the man is 26 years old, AJ. 26. He's young. He's not even in his physical prime yet. So Sean Brady, to me, has some options on the feet, given that he has the grappling in his back pocket. But if this is a straight striking matchup, Michael Morales is going to knock him out in the first round, and we're all going to look silly. However, there's value to be had here. So let's take a quick look at these odds for Michael Morales, Sean Brady. And of course, we're going to go straight back to the double chance. Michael Morales by knockout TKO. I think that this one is the better play. By knockout or decision, Michael Morales plus 120. If you're Morales better, I feel like you have to jump on that.
Yeah, 100%. You smash that all day long. I still, what's crazy and why I like this one more is because I do think the decision's at play, right? Like if it does become a longer drawn out fight, Morales in the ending rounds can have that athletic ability to survive. I like this one a lot, especially at plus money.
Yeah, bro. If it's like a Ian Gary, Carlos Prates style fight where it's like there was a lot of control, but in the end you have an opportunity to finish, or that comes to whatever, it squeaks out to a decision. Yeah, there's opportunity there. I have to say the safest bet, in my opinion, if you're a Sean Brady backer right here, Sean Brady by submission or decision at even money right here. That is the best line that you could possibly get on this happening, because I think a submission is at play here 100%. And if you look at the just pure submission line, plus 425. But if you want the safety net of the backup of, well, Morales has never lost, maybe he can't get submitted in this spot, you have at least even money right here, man. Bet 100, win 100. It's as easy as that. So we are contested on this one, but the play is, as you can see right here, folks. So I'm taking Sean Brady. You're going Michael Morales. And I gave some bold claims on Michael Morales right here. Between these two, who's first to become a champion, in your opinion?
Michael Morales, Derick. I don't think Sean Brady has enough push behind him to actually get there. I think he has all the technique and everything going, but I do think he might have already been champion, if not, here within the next year. And I think it's going to be Michael Morales that gets it done first.
I think you're going to need to put some respect on them Philly boys' names, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go Sean Brady. That's the pick right here. A quick intermission before we jump into the next one. We're about to jump into the two title fights on this card right here. If you made it to this segment of the program, drop a comment, drop a like, let the people know about the Bloody Water podcast. That's our only ask right here. For the first time, reach advantage? Height advantage for Shevchenko? What? We have not heard that in quite some time. Look at who she's fought. Fiorot, Grasso, Tyler Santos, Lauren Murphy. Andrade is the one exception right here. Maybe Jennifer Maia. But yeah, Chukagian, Caitlin Sermonara, Liz Carmouche. You had some like big women that she had to fight. Let's not forget 8 years ago, Amanda Nunes. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, like going back and doing all of that. Then you get Wei Li. And is it wrong, AJ, for the people, this is not me speaking, this is the public speaking, that are assessing this and they're already claiming it as the most high-level women's MMA fight of all time? Is it out of turn to say that?
Yes, absolutely. High level. So that's what I'm thinking, right? Because as much as the sport has evolved over the last couple of years, the level of athleticism and the level of fight IQ and all the things that these women bring are higher. But I think with the intangibles, right, the size of things like the Amanda Nunes fight, it's hard to say that wasn't levels above any other fight we've seen going forward. So recency bias, I'd say yes, but the degenerate in me says no.
Well, we can't say that there's over 50 combined victories between these two women. So there is something to say right there. I think really what they're saying is Shevchenko, more or less, like it or not, has cleaned out her division, except there's one glaring person that's waiting for a shot. Her name is Natalia Silva. And then you got Wei Li, who legitimately did clear out her division in strawweight, man. I mean, what was left for her, right? There was no choice. Move up. Let's see what you got. Here we are. Okay, let's break it down. So betting odds. Shevchenko, surprisingly, minus 135 favorite, plus 115 comeback for Zhang. I just felt, the reason I say surprisingly isn't because I don't believe. I thought the public was out on her, given her last performance was razor close, bro. If she didn't break Fiorot's nose in that first round, I think we would have saw a different fight, and I think Fiorot would have won. Some people say that the Grasso fight, right? That, I mean, she wrestled her way to a victory right there. But the long and the short of it is, she's the favorite. Wei Li has something to prove right here. And I think in a lot of people's eyes, there's a lot of value to be had on Wei Li because, one, she's younger. Some would say she's more athletic. Shevchenko has lost a step. Wei Li isn't in that situation, even though they're damn near the same age. It's like a 2-year difference between the two, right? But everyone says that Shevchenko fell off. So what is the game plan right here? What is the one X factor? I'm curious to know what you think. What's the one X factor that both of these fighters had in their back pocket that will no longer necessarily be applicable in this matchup?
Ooh, the one X factor that Valentina Shevchenko will no longer be able to use will be the technique advantage, man. Like how solid she is in the way she goes about her technique in her fights is next to none. And the only other person it's next to is Zhang Wei Li. So I think that's one thing. But for Zhang Wei Li, the power and the brutality that she fights with is no longer going to be a thing that she can do in this Valentina Shevchenko fight, right? With the size of opposition Shevchenko has, Wei Li is leagues below that. So I don't think she's going to be able to utilize what she's used to and have that feeling she's used to having in the octagon.
I like where you're coming from a technique standpoint. I was actually thinking a little bit different. I was thinking the grappling. Wei Li significantly improved in her grappling as of late. It's been like a big development in her game. Shevchenko for years has used her wrestling to win these fights, man. You remember when she was fighting Andrade, put her in a crucifix, got her up out of there, right? All the times where she's winning the fight stunningly on the feet and says, I'm just going to get that takedown and I'm going to win the fight. Let's not forget a couple years back when Wei Li lost against Rose Namajunas in the second fight, and it was like a takedown in the 5th round that just sealed the deal for her, right? I think that spurred her to say, all right, let me get this wrestling in. Next thing you know, she's out wrestling all these people. She's over here saying, Tatiana Suarez, get up off me, man. You're not taking me down, all that. So Shevchenko, where I see her find her safety net in a lot of places, is getting into the clinch, trying to work trips, trying to work that head and arm, trying to work stuff like that to get the fight to the ground. I think Wei Li wins the scrambles in this matchup right here, which makes me wonder here, AJ, even though I think that the offensive wrestling goes out the door, how did Alexa Grasso catch Shevchenko? One mistake, hopped on her back, choked her. I think Wei Li has that in her bag, brother. I'm just saying, maybe I'm speaking out of line right here, but I think that she has an offensive grappling, like from a submission standpoint, a little bit of a better chance, while I hear the public saying that it's the opposite, that Shevchenko has a better offensive grappling chance here. What do you think?
No, I think I like where you're coming from, Derick, especially because Shevchenko's going to go in there thinking she has the advantage, right? Especially in the grappling, especially with how improved we've seen Zhang Wei Li. I don't think it's enough to actually scare Valentina Shevchenko. But the one thing that I really like what you're saying, and where I think Zhang Wei Li can have the advantage is in those moments, right? In those careless little natures. She's very, very precise. And that's one of the things I like most about Wei Li. She's able to find those moments and hop to it very athletically and very, very quick. And that's where I think she can expose the step that Valentina Shevchenko has arguably lost.
Yeah, no, that's fair right there. Other thing to consider is that Wei Li, again, not the bigger fighter. So for the first time, Shevchenko, who was able to move around Manon Fiorot, was able to move around Amanda Nunes once upon a time. I don't think that the power of Wei Li from a grappling perspective is going to be as threatening to her as the power that she has on the feet. That's my big concern right here. Shevchenko, better kicker, more technical in my opinion. I think Wei Li is a better boxer puncher and has more powerful shots and more powerful kicks. So it's going to be interesting to see how this fight plays out. But realistically, my read on this one is pretty simple here. The longer this stays just pure striking, I think that's Shevchenko's bag. If some grappling starts getting mixed in, I think that's where Wei Li is going to try to capitalize. Takedown defense is what you do need to consider because somehow, some way, similar between the two. And Shevchenko even has a little bit better takedown defense, which actually really surprised me when I was looking at this because I'm like, who's taking down Wei Li? Like, where's she getting taken down at, you know? But if you look at the strength of schedule right here, again, no one's going to be able to match up with Shevchenko. I just think that Wei Li and the run that she's taken, you beat a wrestler. Okay, Carla Esparza, most people expected that. You beat Lemos, you wrestled her. Yan Xiaonan, you wrestled her. Tatiana Suarez, all she had for you was wrestling. Valentina is the unique challenge that has both. Rose didn't have both. And Jacek didn't have both. So, confidence levels right here. What do you think?
Confidence level, Derick. I think Valentina as much as I agree with you, she was losing that last fight. If she didn't bust up Manon Fiorot, we'd be seeing something different. I do think Valentina Shevchenko, her confidence level is high right now. All the intangibles are on her side. Everything's going her way. And Wei Li, I think she's got a lot to prove in this fight, especially stepping up, because you're not stepping up to a champion who just got the belt, right? Or a champion who's had the belt 2 or 3 fights and it's only been a year. You're going up against the Bullet, who's been a longtime veteran, who has held her stake in her land for a long time. I think Wei Li might be a little nervous going into this one.
I don't know, man. I think she's pretty experienced, but we'll see. We'll see. I think confidence level is always going to be in Shevchenko. But again, what do we know? What have we learned the hardest way possible over the years of doing this? It's that your favorite fighters, even the people at the top of the mountain, always get dethroned. Habib is literally the only one who hasn't done it. And when they do go out on top and they do go out the right way, what do, AJ? They come back and they ruin it and they lose later. You know what I mean? So I'm just putting that out there. But let's take a look at some numbers. Let's take a look at some double chance numbers right here. What do you like here out of this box, in the double chance box, between Shevchenko and Wei Li? Because I think Wei Li by knockout, I wish there was a knockout, submission, or decision. That's a money line, really, more than it is anything else. But based on what you have right here, what would you take on the Wei Li side of things?
On the Wei Li side of things, Derick, I'm taking that plus 155 submission or decision. I think that's going to be the best route for her. If she knocks out the Bullet, man, we're all eating crow. We're all looking. The world is on a different timeline. If that is the case, I think that plus 155 speaks volumes, though.
Let's be fair. She's been a little decision heavy as of late. Shevchenko pretty much on the same thing. So I would agree. Submission or decision for Shevchenko plus 105, and knockout or decision is even money for Shevchenko. So, I mean, the total is 4.5 rounds. It's pretty heavy on the over, about minus 280 plus 230 comeback from when I checked last. So there is that. And if you're looking to go straight decisions on either, which I think is always going to be a fair play, Wei Li plus 200, Shevchenko plus 140. So let's let the cat out the bag. The consensus pick. Listen, the Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko, and still on this one, and plus 140 decision. High confidence, yeah.
Yeah, high confidence. If you're not going to do that, you go with the other play, but that plus 140 all day long. Smash that.
JDM, Islam Makhachev. I'm honestly more conflicted about this matchup than I ever thought that I would be, because I was not that high on Jack Della Maddalena just a couple of fights ago. But that's how quickly the fight game moves, as you have mentioned. What is there to like about Jack Della Maddalena? What is your campaign for him to remain champion and shock the world by dethroning what some would argue the second best fighter next to Habib Nurmagomedov?
You do what no one else has done, Derick. You shut the man down, right? You stop those takedowns. You don't get grappled up, and you put the pressure to him. Jack Della, one thing I like most about Jack Della Maddalena, good pressure, great movement, and he throws out the combos, right? He's always looking to work. The combos are there. He has power in his hands. He's able to get the fight moving. You're not just stuck in a lateral back and forth with this guy, right? Trying to actually shut things down. You're moving. You're actually going out, cutting angles, doing different things. That's where Jack Della Maddalena shines best, is when he's able to cut those corners, find those moments to hit. And if he's able to shut down Islam Makhachev, man, we're seeing a whole new world turn. Like, if this is one thing where the takedowns get stuffed, Jack Della Maddalena is the guy now.
And I agree. And, I also hear a lot of this talk about JDM, bro. He's always stuffing these takedowns and then he's beating them up and these guys can't stop him. But I did want to just take a quick look here at some numbers just so we can all get on the same page right here. You see a ton of wins. You don't see no losses here, right? But there is a constant. Bilal took him down 3 times in a fight where people said Bilal never shot and never was able to get him down. Still took him down 3 times. Gilbert Burns 7 times. Basil Hafez 3 times in a fight that a lot of people thought that Hafez was robbed on. But JDM, he was even able to get his own takedown. Ramazan Emeev, 1 takedown. Even Angelusa, I remember that fight. That was the Contender Series fight. He got taken down, but what's the common denominator here is he gets back up to his feet and he finishes these people and gasses them out. Well, Islam Makhachev, if he's not able to grab a takedown, is he getting outstruck in a lot of these fights? In this against Renato Moicano, you can call that a fight, sure, but no. He took down Poirier 5 times and outstruck him. Volkanovski, no takedowns, but he outstruck him. 4 on Volkanovski for the first fight, and then he got outstruck. I think if you actually look at all of the numbers, that's the only fight that you're going to see that happen. Everything else is either he lands the takedown and wins, or he lands the takedown and still outstrikes them. So as much as it's fun to say like, yeah, JDM should be the guy or whatever, he's bigger, he's a natural welterweight, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter what you say, man. You cannot argue with the statistical prowess that Islam Makhachev has. He's good. The numbers back it. The eye test backs it. And I think this is really just a picking contest over who do you think is more popular and who has a better style that you like. But that's not what we're interested in, right? We're interested in making money right here. And my first question to you is it possible? Can you really grab value when you take a look at the line? Minus 265 favorite for Makhachev, plus 225 for JDM. Like, the odds makers are showing it's not really as divided as we would see online or whatever the case may be. So how do we make money from a situation like this?
Yeah, Derick. I mean, you have to look at the props on this one, because 265 for Makhachev, you can't put any just a money line on that one. And for all the intangibles we've seen, Makhachev has multiple ways to win this fight, right? Submission, decision, even a knockout. We've seen the way Islam Makhachev fights. It gets people so worried about the takedowns that he's able to piece them up. And you're right, you showed the stats. Yeah. He's out striking people consistently. It's just, does he have the power now to do it against a bigger weight class? Makhachev is huge as well. If you've seen him walking around, even DC was scared. Makhachev looks big. He's going to be hitting hard. So I think none of that's a problem. If you're really looking at this one, we're breaking it down. Makhachev by submission, plus 195. That's his best path to victory. Plus money as well on the almost a minus 300 favorite, which I'm expecting it to creep to a minus 300 when the fight gets started. If you're able to take plus money on a submission, his best play, I love that play.
And then you got, what do you have right here? Submission or decision from Makhachev, minus 175. Odds makers are heavy on this one. Knockout or decision, which a knockout from just ground and pound is always an option, plus 120 right here. Everything on Jack, right? If you're going to go knockout or decision, because it could creep there, plus 230, tons of value right here, but there's tons of value for a reason. So I think the argument right here is pretty straightforward, right? It's like, all right, well, if Makhachev can take him down and can hold him down, obviously that's when a lot of people are going to do their live betting and they're going to make their determinations. But if you're betting beforehand, it's like the two paths. Islam Makhachev probably gets him out in under 3 rounds, I would imagine, if he just like has his way with him and just mauls him. Or he gasses himself out by that point, and late second, third, or fourth round, JDM knocks him out, similar to what we've seen over and over again. The only problem is JDM literally has fought nobody of the caliber of Islam Makhachev. Let's just face it. Bilal was a challenge, and JDM does some really good technical things to keep Bilal at bay, right? Immediately when he comes out, one of the things I love about JDM, jabs to the body, he probes, uppercut feints, show of a knee, right? Hey, if you come in here, I'm going to give you something back. But as you had mentioned, Makhachev could sit back and strike. I just think if he does that for an extended amount of time, that's JDM's fight to win, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if the takedowns are your JDM has nothing to fear with the takedowns. That thing is out the door. JDM's fight to win right there. Don't sleep on Makhachev's kicks though, man. There's some things he can do to distract you and then shoot for that takedown. This is a very interesting one, Derick. And I like that you mentioned 3.5, because if the under, at least what I'm looking at, is plus money. If you're a JDM better, a Jack Della Maddalena better, that over 3.5 at minus money. I mean, it seems to be what the odds makers are looking at as well. Seems to be a smart play. Do you like the over for that, or are you still thinking the under all day?
I'm taking the under on this one because I think both fighters can get it done under that time. And if this does stretch, like, it is what it is. It stretches, right? I'm more confident in my original pick than I am on a totals pick. That's how you know it's one of those fight right here. So I haven't let the cat out the bag yet, and I still won't. But one more thing that I want to talk about is the clinch. I think this fight is won in the clinch. Islam Makhachev is not a blast double from distance type of grappler. He is not a open space grappler per se. He is a get you to the cage, pick you up, dump you, get you into the clinch, use a trip, chain it to something else, dump you, continuously get you back against the cage and do those little trips where you're up and down and they just dump you. Kind of Marab style, right? How often do you see Marab just open space? I'm going to shoot a double in the middle of the cage. Like, you don't, right?
If he's being funny, that's about it.
But Makhachev has similar fundamentals, and the reason being is because, one, it's a different ball game, right? So JDM has a really good wall work. I mean, that's the thing that Bilal was struggling on. That's normally his bread and butter, right? Is shooting it on a double against the cage, switch it to a single, back and forth, trips, wrist rides, all that good stuff. So again, I think we see the same thing, just at a much, much, much higher level. And they talk. You saw that grip strength from Islam Makhachev, man. They did a little thing, 161 pounds or whatever. When this man gets his hands on you, it's going to be hard to get out. JDM is slippery, uses underhooks very well, very comprehensive ability to have grappling defense. But there's a difference between I got some solid grappling defense versus I'm going with one of the best grapplers the UFC has seen in some time, kind of like Sean Brady, how we talked about. So I think Makhachev imposes his will. I think the grappling is going to be too much of a deterrent. And while JDM is a very fun fighter and I really enjoy his fight style, I think Makhachev becomes a 2-time champion. And it appears, AJ, that we are in consensus. And new Islam Makhachev. Question, does he retire if he wins?
No. Only because I do think that the post I saw that Khabib sent out, Khabib is true to his word. He wants him to fight Sugar. He wants him to, oh no, that was Usman. Never mind. I'm sorry. Totally different thing.
Okay.
Yes, I do think he does retire. Yeah.
Okay, boom, easy. I think that would be the smart thing to do, right? Because there's no higher high that you can go unless you BJ Penn it and you're just like, dude, I'm going to win this and then I'm going to keep fighting at these weight classes or whatever, and keep winning. But we saw how it ended for BJ Penn. We saw how it ends for everybody who attempts things of this nature. So that is the pick, Islam Makhachev. And no, we have some best bets. AJ has one. I have one. And we're going to tell you what we think is the most confident bet of the card right here. AJ, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off. Brother, talk to the people. What do you got?
Best bet this week for me, folks. We're going Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira over 2.5 at -152. I'm expecting this fight to be a lot like the Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig fight. Stand up heavy with both fighters nullifying each other's ground game. Nickel, he has the better hands out there, but Vieira is very dangerous and very, very durable. I'm expecting a washing machine style start to this fight and eventually slowing down through the middle and out of round 2, leaving each fighter for that longer duration, having to make secondary reads, leading to us hitting the over on this one. -152 is a great price for this, especially when styles collide right here. I like this one a lot, and not cashing in here. Derek's got a good one, but first, Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is good right here, bro. I think you look at Tapology, man. Everybody's on Bo Nickel. I think that they're going to be in for a little bit of a surprise, especially if Bo doesn't go straight D1 wrestler off the bat and wants to strike a little bit. We've seen it, man. Vieira, his striking has improved. So this is a good one right here. I like this. I think most people wouldn't be on this. They think early finish. I don't agree with that one. I have a good one for you guys right here. And this is actually going to be a fan favorite. So let me go ahead and pull this one up. This one right here. All right, folks, y'all like fun fighters? Well, I got some fun fighters for you right here. My bet is Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. Fight to go under 2.5 rounds. This is minus money, -155 currently tracking. Wellmaker, undefeated, big knockout power, man. He touches you. These guys are freaking crumbling, dude. And he's doing it quick. He's doing it in under 2 minutes, what he did for his last one. Cody Haddon. I don't know if they thought that this was like a different Cody Thicknessy or whatever when this got booked, because people are like, oh, Wellmaker's just going to smash this dude. Y'all must not be familiar with Cody Haddon's game right here. 8-1, aggressive, 80+% finish rate regionally. This dude can finish you from anywhere. This is going to be a really, really good fight right here. But both of these fighters do not fight like they're trying to go the distance. They're fighting for 50K off the bat. They're fighting to get these dudes out of here. They're here for a good time, not a long time. So my prediction right here is violence under 2.5 rounds at -155. That's my play. AJ, how do you see it?
Violence all day long, folks. When the fighters are looking for 50K off the bet, the under's hitting right there. Make sure you're cashing in as well. This is actually, when I saw Derek post this one, I got excited because I hadn't looked at the prelims yet. I was doing a little other stuff. I saw Malcolm Wellmaker, Cody Haddon. This one's going to be a banger, folks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, folks. So generally, especially if you've watched the program here before, we would move on to a story. But I got a little something here for you, folks, because we are the gift that keeps on giving. AJ, we got some bonus bets right here. And I think the most fun thing that we can do is just what AJ alluded to. Well, a lot of us get too caught up, especially on a numbered card, on just the main card, right? The main docket of fights. We give you all the betting value. We've been spending the last 45 minutes doing that, people. But we got some bonus bets here for you. And what we're going to do is going to be pretty straightforward, brother. I have some UFC 322 prelim bet concepts here. And as you can see on the screen, there's going to be all of the different fights. Obviously, you can see one of the concepts was your lock in right here over 2.5. So, we got some good thoughts right here. But I just want to go through a couple of them. These are not our recommended bets to you. We are going to let you know which ones that we do recommend, which ones that we do not recommend. But here's some more fun lines to play around with on these prelim fights. So let's start off with this fight. Very, very fun one. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. The prop, under 1.5 rounds plus 122. As you can see, there's the reasoning here on the screen, folks. So go ahead and feel free to read that. But as you can see, it's a very high finish rate between both of these fighters, durability issues for both of these fighters, and the combined aggressiveness, more from the Rodriguez side. I think Kopylov is a little less aggressive in his tactics, but I can definitely see them coming out to clash and coming out to bang, being a short night. What do you think?
Yeah, Derek, that's what I was going to say. With the aggressiveness that Rodriguez likes to push forward with, Kopylov, he's not always the most pressure forward guy, but when you're putting pressure on him, he has a way of changing the tide, right? Really turning things around and starting to put that back on you. I like the under on this one. This one's chaotic. I'm not, the confidence level is about a 6 right here on this one because of how inconsistent Gregory Rodriguez is. But if we've seen anything from Roman Kopylov, man, this dude is down to fight. He's down to bring that chaos. And if it goes to the over, he's probably losing the fight. So he's going to be looking to get this one finished.
Yeah, bro. I mean, look at these. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 5 for Gregory Rodriguez have ended inside the distance. And then, yeah, not quite, kind of the same. Yeah, I mean, pretty much similar for Roman Kopylov. Only difference is, I mean, he had a fight against Paulo Costa that goes to a decision. I don't think a lot of people would have bet something like that. So, all right, something to think about right there. Fun rematch that's taking place at the UFC level, but Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez right here. And the prop is Blanchfield by decision. A lot of people are on Tracy Cortez, and I'm not going to lie to you folks. I threw a quarter of a unit on Tracy Cortez at over, I think it was like plus 220 or something like that. Quarter of a unit, folks. It's not a lot of money right here. The reason that we did this is because I do think that Blanchfield is the better overall fighter right now. Tracy Cortez has suffered from inactivity, unfortunately, but she rises to the occasion, dude. Good hands. She is a wrestler by trade, by nature. And Blanchfield, I love her grappling, but her striking, I'm always so unimpressed by the striking so far. I think she's going to go far. I think she will be a champion one day, but I think this is an interesting play right here. So I'm conflicted. What are your thoughts?
No, I like this one, Derek. I do think Aaron Blanchfield's going to be winning this fight. I'm not sure if Tracy Cortez has the movement and the ability to get to the better position than Aaron Blanchfield. That's the one thing I like about Aaron Blanchfield. She finds herself in the moments that actually matter going forward. Tracy Cortez seems to have this style where she's almost fighting herself to get to those moments, and we haven't really seen her put it together yet where it looks fluid. I think Aaron Blanchfield's a better fighter at the moment. Tracy Cortez might have a better ceiling going forward, but I think Aaron Blanchfield gets this done, and I do think she gets it done by decision.
Yeah. I mean, look at who she's fought, bro. It's not even comparable, really, between the two right here. So Cortez is really going to have to step up because when she did win over 10 fights ago, this was many, many moons ago on the regional scene, she won by a split decision. So let's see if she could right that wrong right there. But Blanchfield by decision minus 125, I think that's pretty solid because the overall line, minus 235 for just a pure money line plus 200 for Cortez is shrinking a little bit. I will say that it's shrinking a little bit. We'll see right there. All right, the next one, this one, I'm glad that they aligned with me. Folks, that's how you know that we got some good game plans going on over here. The Wellmaker versus Haddon, under 2.5 rounds like there. I like that. All right, Kyle Dawkins versus GM3. So let's get used to the Dawkins brother being back in it. Fight to go the distance, no, at minus 235. That's a little chalky. I don't know if I would even take that just off the bat. That's really, really chalky right there. GM3, listen, he's one of the more unpredictable fighters. So what are you thinking about this one?
So I was actually looking at this fight when I was looking for a best bet right here. What worries me is GM3. Like you said, he finds ways to win when he shouldn't, and he's still around to this day, doing very, very well. So it's hard when you have somebody who left the sport and didn't really do that well, and now they're back, right? The Dark Knight is back, but is he really full form? Is he really ready for the opposition that Gerald Mearshart can just wake up and fight at that opposition? So when I was looking at this one, Derek, I actually think it was the, because what was the bet they were saying?
Fight not to go the distance at minus 235.
It's a little chalky. With the one I liked a little bit better than, and I was this almost was the best bet. I like the under 2.5. It's still minus 164. It gives you a bit better than odd than that minus 235. But you're still in that same grounds. And he got a long duration, 2.5 rounds, right? Under that, I do think either fighter can finish the fight. I'm not sold on who's going to do it, but I like the under better right here.
I hear you, and I will say for the degenerates who are just like, dude, I got to throw something up on here. 77 combined fights, right? 57, 77. Is that correct? Yeah, 77. That's a shit ton of fights, bro. 77 combined fights. Decision 6 + 2, 8 + 3, 11 + 2. 13 decisions, man. That's not too many right there. So something to consider. Next up, we got Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Mariscal. Another rematch right here. Another banger. This is to go over 2.5 rounds at minus 200. Just give me a quick synopsis on this one.
Yeah, over 2.5 at minus 200. I like this one, Derick, especially for it being a rematch, right? Especially they were what was the last one? I was looking at it earlier. Chepe Mariscal. They fought quite a while ago, Derick. So new fighters have been, or they are new fighters as far as like what they've actually been going for, things that have gone like that. We talked about it before. The terms of MMA landscape have changed a lot. So I like this one at the over, especially for two very durable fighters going into this one.
Yeah, I like this one. I think I'm going to keep it as simple as that. I think that they got history. Both, I think it's fair to say Sabatini has a little durability issue, but I think Chepe and the grappling between both of these guys is going to be interesting. Remember, your favorite fighter's favorite fight show, the Bloody Water Podcast. Catch us next week for another action-packed fight card. That's all that we got for you. Until next time. Peace.